everyone, in today's video I'm going to be showing you my uber sparkly nails that I'll be wearing for the majority of the month. And they have a huge green bow. I absolutely love wearing them. Unfortunately, the bow is actually too big. I can't get either of the rings off that I'm wearing on my two hands, so those are permanently on there until I take these nails off, which I guess is okay, but I won't be making any bread anyways because I was taking my rings off to make bread. I hope you guys like these nails. Super sparkly. Absolutely love them. I hope you like them too, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.
So we are going to begin. I do have acrylic that I just filed off of my nails, and so I'm going to fill all of my nails with a natural color acrylic, which is what I'll be using throughout. And then with that same color, I'm going to apply a nice thick section. This is my thumbnail, right along cuticle down, almost as if I'm doing a reverse French. So I want a really nice tall ledge on this color. And then after I have it brushed down, I have a nice base down. I'm going to take a craft knife that's dipped into clear acrylic powder, and I'm going to cut a straight line. That is going to give me a super sharp edge. Then I'm going to take a green sparkle acrylic and I'm going to fill in the rest of the nail. So I'm going to do a thin layer, not all the way up to the same height as that natural color was, because this will require a clear encapsulation. After that green's applied, it is so pretty, you guys. So pretty. After the green's applied, I'm going to take clear acrylic and I'm going to encapsulate the rest of the nail. If you're wondering about the staining going on underneath my nail, I was using yellow food coloring in an airbrush, and it stained my nail underneath. So that is what's going on there. Now on the index finger for the acrylic portion of this, I'm going to apply a full cover of a red sparkle glitter. This is a red sparkle glitter acrylic. It is a pre-mixed glitter. I will put the color names to all of my glitter acrylics that I'm using in the description box below. The red and the green are from Double Dip, and they are absolutely stunning. And if you are interested, like I said, they will be down below. They're both just beautiful. I've had them for a little while, and they're just ones that I always go back to. Encapsulate that red glitter. Now on the middle finger, same thing, a nice little layer to fill in the gap where my nails have grown out, which is quite a bit because I don't get the opportunity to fill my own nails as often as I do everybody else's. And then I'm going to do that same system as I did on the thumb, except for this one is going to be much shorter. So I'm not going to take it down nearly as far on my finger. After I have that first little section filled, I'm going to grab my craft knife, cut a nice straight line. My line wasn't nearly as straight on this one, which happens. If you have that, you can certainly file it. Usually I would file it regardless. That one on my thumb was just so perfect from the beginning. I was like, you know what? It doesn't even need the file. But if it does, no big deal. Straight edge file, what you need. Now I'm going to grab the red glitter and I'm going to do the next section with red glitter. The glitters you cannot cut with the craft knife as well as you can the other colors, because the glitter itself won't cut through, and especially a chunky glitter will just not work quite as well. So drag your color down and then use the craft knife, cut what you can, and then use the craft knife and press up. So cut away and then press it up, and that'll give you a fairly straight, crisp line. After that's done, encapsulate the red glitter. Once that's done, this is a section you will definitely want to file to make sure it's nice and straight. After that's done, grab a silver glitter. This one is not a pre-mixed glitter. It is a clear acrylic dipped into a silver glitter mix. I'm going to add a very skinny line of that going down. Same thing, don't bother trying to cut this one necessarily. You can use your craft knife to press against it to thin out the line, or you can just use your brush. I'm then going to encapsulate it with clear acrylic to make sure that that glitter is also protected, but same thing, craft knife, press up. It has that nice sharp edge that it does work well to do it this way, but just don't bother trying to cut it the way that you would a cream color or a clear or a white acrylic. And then fill in the rest of the nail with the green, pressing it up against that last line. They are so pretty. I can't get over these colors. They're just they're everything. They're like the Christmas spirit embodied in a single color. And then I'm going to encapsulate the green on the middle finger. This one is the one that's a little different, going all the way around, because this one is going to be your standard French tip. I'm going to begin by filling in my nail with that same natural color, and then I'm going to use that as my nail bed color. It's definitely an icier color than what I would normally use for a nail bed. However, I thought it was just perfect for this bright Christmassy set to have this tone instead of more of a cover pink. If you are somebody that prefers cover pinks and you like that warmer tone, everywhere that I've used the natural color, which is what Koopa calls this one, the natural, everywhere I've used that, replace that with your favorite cover pink, and then you would have more of that warmth. And it might depend on your skin tone too. If you are a more melanated individual, you may want to use a darker color than what I did. And then I'm going to file my smile line with my straight edge file, dust off the dust. And then with a shimmery white, a pearlescent white, I'm going to fill in the very tip of the nail, very thin layer of that color. Then grab my silver glitter, dip a bead of clear acrylic into the silver glitter mix, apply that over the top of the white. Try to keep this very thin as well. After that's done, so we got the pearl and the silver mix, we're going to encapsulate the tip of the nail with clear acrylic. When you're encapsulating over the top of all of that other stuff, your acrylic needs to be slightly thinner than what you would use normally so that it will go up and over all the glitter pieces and not leave air bubbles. On the pinky nail, I blended some pearl white going up just on one side of the nail, going up towards the cuticle, so heavy on the tip, then fading out. Then I'm going to take the natural color and I'm going to apply that from cuticle going down, cut my straight line, and then I'm going to grab some clear acrylic and cover up the rest of the white that's on the pearly white that's on the tip. So we have a little bit of like a very subtle French ombre going on. It's super mild on that side of the nail. I just needed something to cover up and make sure that my natural nail underneath was covered. So that's where the pearly white came into play. And then fill in the other side of the nail with red. My line is not straight down the nail. I left it so it's like 1/3 of the natural and the pearl white, and then 2/3 red was kind of my plan. So fill in that other side with that red glitter. And then after that glitter is done, encapsulate it with clear acrylic. Focus your clear acrylic encapsulations just over the glitter. It doesn't have to go over the other side of the nail. And if it does, it'll just cause you to do more filing. Once you're done with all of that acrylic work, go ahead and file all your nails into shape. You will see that all those lines that you made will really come to life once you start filing them. They will get crisper, they will get cleaner. If they're nice and straight when you sculpt, even if they don't look it at the end of all of your acrylic application, once you file, they will be absolutely stunning. Once that's done, you're going to go ahead and on your index finger and your pinky, we're going to do a little bit of painting before we do the rest of it. So we're going to do the start of our candy canes. On the peppermint swirl for the index finger, make a dot in the middle and then create curved swooping lines radiating out from it. Once you do the first one, use that one as a guide to do the next one. The curves all are going to go in the exact same direction. So think of it like a clock. I think that helps me. So if your lines curve, they're all just going to curve the same way. So they're just going to keep kind of going the same direction. They're going to keep having the same turn. So they should all be not parallel, but not opposite each other as you go. So start in one place, and then whatever lines you make for that, that's your base, and just progressively work out from there until you have a nice little swirly peppermint going across your entire nail. After you have that last one filled in, go ahead and cure this nail. And then on the pinky, do the start of some candy cane stripes that are your more standard, just diagonal straight lines. So we've got the first one. I'm going to do rather large, wide stripes for this and take them just on the red glittery portion of this nail. So don't take it all the way across the whole thing. Keep it just contained on the one side. If the line where the red glitter is, if your little stripe painting is not totally flawless and there's a little bit of unevenness there, that's okay, because I will outline that line anyway, and those edges will get covered up. I am now applying a layer of gel top coat over the top of all of these nails, and you can really see all of that glitter come to life. That's my favorite part of any time I do a glitter nails and the glitter is sculpted in. You really see it just brighten up as soon as you apply the top coat. Now going back to your white gel paint, do one nail at a time, so work just by ones. And on the thumbnail, in the area above the green, paint a snowflake. I usually like to do my snowflakes in sections of 6, but because this is just the upper half of the snowflake and not the whole thing, I'm going to do a section, 4 sections, which would end up being 8 total. But it looks better that way, it looks more balanced. And so we've got first the 4 lines, and then I'm going to add little inverted V shapes between them. And then on the tops of the lines, I'm going to add little curved lines, little pulls coming in. After that, I'm going to fill in the diamond shapes that were created by the inverted V's, and then add another little section of inverted V's above that. Almost looks like hearts though this time, because they're wider on the edges and they come to a point, which adds so much. If you make your lines where they're purposefully thicker in some areas and thinner in others, it adds a lot of dimension. And then some polka dots. 3 little polka dots around that second section of inverted V's. After those are done, do not cure this quite yet. You're going to sprinkle your pearlescent white acrylic powder over the top of that white gel paint, and then cure it and then dust it off. Like I said, work on one nail at a time, because if these smudge, it's a mess. So just do one and then powder it and then cure it. It seems like it's tedious, and it certainly adds time. It adds about 4 minutes because you're curing it 4 extra times than you would if you just did all of them and then cured it once. But the risk of smudging them is huge. And if you do it, it's not something that's easily fixed because there's going to be a stickiness and a mess that is just hard to clean up. So if you are any kind of klutzy like I am, just take the time and do one at a time. On the middle finger, the index finger, you're going to outline your peppermint swirls. So you're going to just go right along the edge of each line with thin outlines, and then sprinkle it with your pearlescent powder, dust it off, tap, tap. On the middle finger, you're going to do 2 lines, 1 bold and 1 thin on the very tip of the nail going across the green, breaking up that green, sprinkle it with your powder. And then last but not least, on your pinky, we're going to do that outline that I mentioned that separates the 2 sides of the nail, and then add skinny lines in between the bolder ones with the white gel paint at this point. I know I said you'd cure it an extra 4 times. It's actually 3 times because there isn't any of that technique on the ring finger. To finish off the ring finger, give it some Christmassy pizzazz, I'm going to take my green acrylic and I'm going to sculpt 2 sides of my bow. They look like petal shapes. I always prefer to sculpt my bows in 2 separate pieces and put them together. I know some people make like one big strip and then just fold it. I think it turns out better this way. So sculpt one, sculpt the other one, slide your brush underneath it, fold it in half, close it up. If you are interested in bow making, I do have a bow live class that goes over a couple different techniques for making bows, and it gives all the details that you will need to ever make bows if you want to. Highly recommend that if this is something that you've never done and you want to try it out, and I'll put a link to that down below. I'm going to finish my bows with a trio of red crystals in the middle, 1 big and then 2 on the sides that are a little bit smaller. It looks so pretty. I've never added crystals in quite that way in the middle of a bow, and you will definitely see me do that again because I loved it. I'm going to buff the top coat that's right under where I will be placing the bow. Grab my bow, and with some clear acrylic, set that clear acrylic down, grab the bow, hold it in place for about 30 seconds until you can feel that it's going to stay. Once you feel confident that it's going to stay exactly where you put it and it's not wiggling when you let go anymore, tip your nail to the side and apply clear acrylic underneath it. If you are worried about wearing, because you're worried that they're going to break, you're not only going to want to apply clear acrylic underneath your bow, you are going to want to apply it inside the loops. They are very thin, and there is definitely a risk of breaking if you do not do that. After that's done, you're done. If they're all cured, they're all dusted, the bow's on, you are all set to go. I absolutely adore these. These are the prettiest thing. I love them so much. I hope you guys like them as much as I do, and I will see you all next time. Bye.